How long you think it was gonna take before we got here? Now you gotta prove yourself all over again. Come on.
Ain't nobody coming, I've been gunning from 100 yards, trying to hit my mark, missing every time. This will be the start of the picture perfect. Watch you.
Hey, welcome back to Hump Day, and you got the dynamic duo back together again. The Big Boopa and yours truly, HRT Rich.
I thought the dynamic duo was Charles and Terry.
That's just, have you ever seen the movie with Jim Carrey and what's the other guy's name? I forget his name, where they wear like the orange and blue suits.
Dumb and Dumber.
You want to hear something annoying? Ah! Watch Terry and Charles. Anyway, my man, good to see you again. How are things? Good?
Doing good, especially here in Kentucky. It's really nice weather and everything. So, hey, I can't complain.
Yeah, I see the farm behind you doing really well there,
yes,
too, Charles.
Yeah, all the horses are doing well.
Indeed. Well, hey, it's good to see. Also good to see last night. I hope you tuned in. Honestly, I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but I know that Jamie and Sean, they always do an excellent job. Last night, they had on trainer Jordan Miller, who is, I think, leading at Woodbine up there in Canada, whatever, they're up there. But always, I'm sure, a fantastic show. If you haven't had a chance to see it, I know I'll be tuning in to watch it a little bit later on today, get caught up to speed on Mr. Miller and what's working for him up there. Because I don't know about you, Charles, but that track up there can cause havoc for me.
Oh, it always causes havoc for me. Right when I think I got it down, like I might have 2 winners in a row, and then that's it for who knows days.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about that track. I had one of my worst experiences betting there too. I had a pick 4 where I had every horse in the field except for one in the last leg, and the lowest payout would have been 10 grand, and you know which one won, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The one I did not have.
That's
hey,
right.
Tonight at 8:00 Eastern, they're going to have on, a guest I've talked to a couple of times. This guy is always entertaining. George Allen Bryant. So you're going to want to tune in for that at 8:00. I mean, I'll make this guarantee, and I don't make very many guarantees, Charles, because this is the horse racing business, but I will make this guarantee at some point, George will make you laugh.
Yeah, definitely. He's a live wire. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and he's a 2-time cancer survivor too. So
yes,
an easy guy to root for. Definitely will keep you entertained tonight. Again, 8:00 Eastern. To make sure you don't miss out on that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Follow us on all of our social sites. You see them scrolling down there below. As I've said before, only 10% of the people hit the subscribe button. Be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. Be in the 10% group. And as always, we do give away some free picks around here at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. Today's track of the day is Presque Isle Downs. Yesterday, we had some nice exactas and trifectas and the like at Finger Lakes. Hopefully, we can repeat that today at Presque Isle Downs in race 1, the 3-horse. Gaucho being a best bet, Charles.
Yeah, last week they even had a couple of winners on their free track of the day, and I've had some success with them on some weekends that I usually get them, and check it all out.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for that, Charles. We appreciate the thumbs up. I do some of the work over there, so that's, I think, the only compliment you've ever paid me.
Well, see, I have to pay it to you a different way. I can't say it to you exactly right away.
Right. You can't do it directly. I get it. All right, so let's move on to the task of the day. That is Saratoga Racetrack, starting in race number 1. What are the particulars here for us, Mr. Charles?
Well, first, it was supposed to be on the turf. So the turf's off except for the non-graded stakes race, which is the 8th race today.
And they haven't made up their mind on that one, it seems, because the 2 MTOs are still in.
Yeah, they can't make up their mind on a lot of things. But anyway, the first race is 1 1/16. It's for maidens.
I think it's going to be a mile now. I think
it's going to be.
No, it's a mile. It's the other ones that are 1 1/16. My bad. Yes, it's a mile.
Okay.
16.
Okay. It's a mile. Okay. Anyway, it's for maidens, fillies, state bred for a purse of $88,000. This is for 2-year-old fillies.
And we don't have any data on 1 1/16, so I can't really go through the profile of the winner. And there are a lot of first-time starters in here too. So a lot of the data in here is based upon averages, Charles. But according to the averages, tell us a little bit about what we see with some of the simulations here.
Well, when it's the speed and the simulation for speed to get the lead at the quarter pole, it looks like that 9 has a 73% chance. I personally believe that horse will probably have that lead at the quarter pole. And then when it comes to simulation odds, the 2 Look at that, just slightly under even money. You got 6-1 morning line, so that's a nice overlay right there.
Biggie.
Yeah, and everything else looks about right except 9 has got a little overlay with 4-1, and the morning line is 5-1.
And comfort zone, again, just real quick, what we're doing here. We do 1,000 simulations using speed figures to take a look at what fair odds might be. So we do 1,000, and whichever horse grades out with the maximum speed figure, that one is declared the winner. And then we calculate how many out of 1,000 times it wins to create the odds. We also use early pace to determine the percent chance a horse will have the lead at the quarter-mile marker because speed kills in American racing. So as Charles mentioned, so far it looks like the 9 will be the one they have to run down. And then C-Zone is something we've created all on our own here based upon that projected early pace. How likely is that horse to get a trip that it's comfortable with that mirrors some of its better performances? We also do pace handicapping here, Charles, and really not a lot to work with. So far, the 9 horse, Grab the Glory, does look like it has the most early speed if you look at it over here. The E-types are pilots. EPs can be co-pilots or pilots. The P's are co-pilots. They don't like to fly the ship, but they want to be up front, get that good view out the front window. I'm calling the PCs now your stewardesses, Charles, because they can be anywhere in the plane from front to back. And of course, you got the closers. They want to sit and coach and sneak up into first class. Finally, your NCs. So far, none of these have been within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line. Again, very limited data set for all of them. And then your first-time starters. According to the early speed, it does look like that 9, 6-point advantage over everybody else. That's a little bit more than a length. Should be your pace setter early on. If you're looking for late speed, Bernie Takes Charge. That big overlay has the most late speed, but could be way off the pace according to its early figures. And total pace, if that's your thing, Grab the Glory, Run for Your Honey. Those two grade out considerably better than the rest of the field. So wouldn't be shocked to see the 9 or the 5 in there as big time chances to win today. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the 9. I got the 9 on top. I think this horse could even be tactical with its speed. I think it could sit second if it has to. So if one of the newbies want to show some speed, then so be it. Rice gets 29% when she takes them from a sprint route to a sprint. You have the Jose Ortiz and Rice combo. That's super hot at Saratoga. Matter of fact, it's been super hot in New York, even before Saratoga. So, and then the 6 is my second choice here. This horse ran even last time out. Well bet last time. Of course, tries the dirt today. Pratt's aboard. So there's a couple of positives for that horse. The 2 horse, like we were just talking about, ran third last time. Katie Davis is finding her stride here at Saratoga. She's starting to get some wins there. And this horse will be closing at the end. As your chart said, it definitely will be flying at the end. So look out for this horse at the end. And then the 4 horse is my prize horse. This horse ran even last time out. You got Maker that gets 17% when you rest them up 46 plus days. And he also gets 14% when he takes him for a route for the first time.
I'm going to start off with that 2 horse, that big overlay over there. Bernie Takes Charge. Looking at Bernie Takes Charge, this is a horse that tied for the top last race speed figure. That was in its debut. So I think you're going to see some improvement in race number 2. Number 5, Run for Your Honey. That's the other one that did tie for that top last race speed figure in here. And one of the things I liked is it showed improved early pace through the first half mile. Again, Craig Milkowski from Timeform USA said that is a hint that a horse is improving. Once an Eagle, the 6 horse, was the favorite in its debut, was only 3-1. Probably better for the turf than the dirt, but maybe today we'll see it live up to those those post-time favorite odds. And then finally, as you mentioned, that 9 horse going to get out to the lead. I think good shot to do that, but that was on the turf as well. You got Linda Rice and Jose Ortiz, as you mentioned. It's a dynamic duo, not quite as dynamic as you and I, but still pretty strong. And they're winning at 28%. I'm going to go with a pick 5 in here, Charles, because you got a lot of scratches in the upcoming races that narrow the fields down. So I'm going to go my 4 picks, 2, 5, 6, and 9. I'm going to single the 3 in that next leg, which might go off at a little bit of a price. The 1, 7, 5, 6, 10, and the 5, 10 to close out the early pick 5 for me. So, and we have a $100 budget. I think I spent $98 today. I wasn't sure. I kept trying to do the math, and as I'm trying to do the math, get the graphics and everything set up and ready to go. Sometimes I mess up, but Terry will
It's
certainly.
that new math that'll get you every time.
Yeah, that fuzzy math, right? Isn't
Yeah.
that what they called it when George Bush was running for president? Fuzzy math. And yes, indeed. Isn't all math kind of fuzzy though at times?
Sometimes.
Well, it can be fuzzy in my mind when you're trying to remember, like Pythagorean theorem and all that stuff. A squared plus B squared
forget
equals
all
C
that
squared.
stuff. Yeah.
You remember that?
I remember parts of it. Let's put that away.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite either. Got a couple of minutes to race number 1, so we're stalling a little bit for that as they go around the starting gate at the back of that chute there at Saratoga, which is a nice track if you've never been there before. Right now in race number 1, the 6 horse is your 5-2 favorite, followed by looks like the next up on line is the 5 horse in there, Charles, at 7-2, tied with the 1 horse. Which is Denver's Alley, one I think neither one of us have. So we might regret not having Denver's Alley in there. That 9 horse is 5-1 right now. So Charles's top pick is a nice value at the moment. Looking at some other horses in play, the 4 horse there, 6-1, Bossy Jeans, your long shot. And it looks like that 2 horse Bernie Takes Charge is 8-1, my top choice. So if both of our top choices were to run 1-2, that would make a pretty nice exacta.
That would, yeah.
Yeah, indeed. So let's look and see what's going on here. Looks like they're just waiting for a couple of horses to get in. The track does look fast. The sun is out. We'll see if indeed the track plays fast today. Let's see how race number 1 goes at the moment. The 4 horse, a little hesitant to go in, but he goes in without much of an effort there. The 1 horse about to load. Yeah. And then I think we're waiting on. Are we waiting on one more? Or are they ready to go?
That's it. I think
they're ready to go. Yes, indeed. And the camera work, a little shaky right there.
Yeah.
Wondering
down to the ground and then back up in the sky.
Yes, maybe it was out a little bit late last night, and they're off. So Bernie Takes Charge, a 2 horse, that 1 horse that got off to a bad start last time, getting off to a pretty good start today on the lead. Followed by the 4 horse on the outside there, Bossy Jeans. And then you have ranging to the outside, the one we thought might get the lead there, that 9 horse, Grab the Glory, getting involved now, sticking its nose out in front. So early on, you got the 9, the 2 on the rail, the 2 deciding it wants to get back involved in the lead there. And then you have it looks to me like the 1 horse over there, Denver's Alley, and the number 4 horse, Bossy Jeans, kind of going back and forth over who's in 3rd and 4th place. Down on the rail, you have the 3 horse, Downtown Chan. To the outside of that's the 5. And then the 7, Bertrally. And all the way in the back is that 6 horse who is starting to make his move now. Just looking at the race right now, it does look like the 9 horse has stuck its nose in front of the 2 again as those 2 duke it out in the front. They went through the opening half in 49, about a half seconds. The 1 horse is taking a move 3 wide to try to get its way around the track. The 9 and the 2 do look like they're running pretty easy still. That 6 horse from way in the back is really pushing up to move his way forward. As they come through the stretch, the 2 horse jockey there twirling his whip. Looks like he thinks he's got this race in command right now. Charles, the 9 horse is in 2nd place. And on the outside, Buffalo Girls around the outside. It looks like that 6 horse in there is going to finish in 2nd place, Charles. But the 2 is making a mockery of the opener there, Charles. He's going to win by
the main question there.
He's going to win by about 10. And then I'm not quite sure. I think it went 2-4-9. I'm not 1,000% sure.
I don't know who was second.
No, the 4 just walked in. So maybe it went 2-5-9. I'm tough to tell. But the 2 horse is your winner in the opener and by a wide margin. So Bernie Takes Charge. As you see,
Bernie Takes Charge was not Weekend at Bernie's today.
No, and and the jockey didn't even ask for anything at the end, just sitting up there pretty on that one, right? So let's see who finished second. I'm not quite 100% sure. Man, it's a long time waiting for the slow motion replay for 2nd and 3rd to come in. There we go. It looks to me like it is. I think
I don't know who's on the inside.
No, the 6 finished 3rd for sure.
Yeah,
but who's the 9? Let's see. 2. Okay, it went 2, 5, 6, and 9. Charles, can I tell you something? You know what they call that?
Ice cold.
Ice cold superfecta to open up the day. at Saratoga, folks. So got to like that start, right?
Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to move on to race number 2 and hope that we can do just as well as we did in race number 1. What do you think?
Yeah, this is that was pretty interesting, especially those two battling it out. I mean, I thought both of them would give out.
Well, one did and the other moved on. So, and that we saw that late pace in our pace scenarios for that 2-horse. So, what do we got in race 2?
Okay, race 2 is a mile for fillies, maiden claimers of 40,000. This is for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, going for a purse of $52,000.
And this time around, we actually do get a chance to talk a little bit about our simulations. There are some scratches in this race, of course, that make a difference. They're popping 2 horses out that could have been a part of the early pace there, Charles, but they're not going to be in there today. As far as the profile of a winner at a mile, you do have some tactical speed, being the way in short fields, I think you want to be forwardly placed. 22% of the time they go wire to wire. There is a pretty strong rail bias, which goes to don't tell Amy right now. 2 through 7 play fair. We're not going to get out that far. So far, nothing is 1 from 8 or out. What does the simulation data, what story are you seeing?
Well, it's now saying that the three's got the best chance of getting that lead at the quarter pole, which is probably 100% true because all the other speed is some other speed, I should say, is out, and it helps out the 3 a lot in this situation. So at 37% chance, most likely having that lead. When it comes to the odds and overlays, the 3 once again, slightly over even money, and you got 6-1 morning line, but that's going to change now with 2 scratches in there and making it a 4-horse field. So,
yeah, that's 4-horse field. So looking at a 4-horse field for race number 2, race setup can be really important here. Yeah. You see, the 4-horse has not been close so far. Touche. But when we look at the early pace, the whole race right here, it all sets up pretty evenly. They're all right next to each other. That 3-horse does look like it should be the one that jumps out to the front. So I think who has the most late legs at the end is going to be important here. That is the 6-horse, but could be a little bit behind everybody else there. So top total pace horse does go to the 3-horse, and they're about 5 points better than the 6. But again, when you get to 10 points, it starts to be something that you really have to pay attention to. 5 points equals about 1 length. So according to total pace, the 3-horse could be a 1-length winner when they hit the finish line. I don't know that that necessarily plays out in a 4-horse race. What do you think happens?
Yeah, that's going to be tough in a 4-horse race. I like the 6 in this race. This horse has got that tactical speed. Back on the dirt again. To me, personally, I think there's a jockey upgrade. You have a second start after a layoff. The trainer gets 15% with that angle. So I kind of like the 6 chances here. The 2 is my second choice. This horse is another one that's the second start after a layoff. Trainer gets 18% with that angle. This horse drops in class today, and of course is back on dirt. And then the 3 is my third choice. This horse ran even last time out. Usually it has tactical speed, but I think today would be the leader. Goes a little longer today, so let's see if it could hang on. And then the 4, which is the final horse in the field, is my prize horse. Blinkers come off, needs to do something to wake up. So I think maybe the blinkers might do the trick.
Might get the job done for it. I'm going to go with the 3-horse in there. Is the top total pace horse in the field. Going to get to the lead. We saw the lead hold up in that first race right there. Is a simulation favorite. And the horse is making its second start off the bench. It's done so 3 times before, and every single time the horse improved in round 2 off the sidelines. Threstraw, the 6-horse, improved the early pace numbers through the first half mile last time out. Again, a sign that the horse is getting into form. And another sign that the horse is in form is had a bullet workout between races. Number 2, Don't Tell Amy. Last race was better than it looks on paper. Better in-race pace numbers from start to finish, and going to get a little bit of a weight break today. And, of course, Touche, the 4-horse, is the only one left in the race, Charles, so someone had to be 4th, so we might as well make the 4 4th. As far as me and my picks concerned, I'm going to do a pick 4 here too, Charles. I'm going to do the 3-6 with the 1-7, with the 5-6-10, and then the 1-5-10 on the end, Mr. Charles. And you did a pick 4 too, right?
Yeah, I'm doing my top 2 picks in the first 3 legs of it. Then I'm singling that 10.
So we'd call those, I wouldn't even call that a hot dog pick four. I'd call that like a slice of cheese pick four.
Yeah, that's a really small pick four there.
Yeah, very, very
That's
light.
okay. Hey, the results of the first races are in. The 1 paid 18 to win. The 5 paid $4.10 to place. 6 paid $3 even to show. The dollar exacta 2-5 paid $19.90. The trifecta 256 paid $41.37, and the super, your ice cold super, paid $23 even.
For a dime, not bad. Where can you make 20? What is that? 23,000% on your money, something like that. In a minute, in a little bit over a minute. In race number 3, Charles, I think it take us a little bit more than a minute to go through the particulars and make our selections and all. But let's go ahead and see if we can do it under a minute.
Let's see. Hey, the third race is a mile. This is for fillies. Claiming price of $16,000. Purse is $42,000 itself. It's for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upward. And that's what we have in this race.
Again, tactical speed, 22% of the time, wire to wire gets the job done. Do have a strong rail bias, so suspended campaign could even have more an advantage in the 6-5 morning line odds show. And then as far as 2 through 7, what's left, they play fair. Obviously, there's nothing outside because, again, this is a race that is been impacted greatly by a trio of scratches, again, getting it down to only a 4-horse field, Charles. So again, I think early speed could play a big role in here. Everybody except the one does have a shot to get the lead, but one in particular stands out.
Yeah, the 5 itself, Vegas weekend.
Sounds like fun.
That's what I need.
I need like a Vegas month.
Hey, I spent 5 days in Vegas, when I do March Madness. And let me tell you, 5 days, you start getting worn out.
Yeah, I know. It's because you don't get any sleep because they pump all that oxygen in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. 41% chance of getting that lead at the quarter pole for that 5. And then when it comes to simulation odds, it's going to be really tough here to get some overlays. But the 7 is 2-1 and morning line is 4-1. But you got 3 scratches in this race. So once again, we're down to a 4-horse field.
Yeah, again, get out to the front. You probably have a good advantage in here. In race number 3, you see the 4 and the 7. They're your pressure types. They want to co-pilot. The 1 and 5 want to close. That 1 horse, if you look at that early speed, could get way behind here. A number that's much lower, 20 points lower than Vegas weekend. That's about 4 lengths. I don't know that in a 4-horse field you want to be 4 lengths off the leader, especially if you don't have a tremendous late pace advantage over the rest of the field. And it does have the top score in there, but it's cold in the here. That one should be plenty in front of the 1 horse and does have a little bit more late speed or similar late speed. Could make it very difficult in a short field on modest fractions for the 1 that run by that 7 at the end. And then the total pace horse, 5 points advantage, 4. It's cold in here. Gringotts is next up in line and a pretty big drop off to suspended campaign in Vegas weekend. So this race, it could shape up pretty nicely for the 7-horse, Charles, but you think the 1 horse is the one that's going to get it done?
Yeah, and I'm not like super thrilled about the 1 as my number 1 pick. I mean, I think it's a tough race between those 2 horses, the 1 and the 7. Why I'm going with the 1, it did win last time out. Rice, she gets 23% first after the claim. So she claims this horse. It's a hot horse. The rail gets 30%. She moves the horse up. If you've been watching Rice at the Saratoga meet, I think she's only moved up 3 horses total. All of them have been big drops. So if she claims this horse and moves it up, she must think there's something a little bit better than just a drop and a win type of play.
Uh-huh.
So I see this horse doing some action there. The 7 itself, like I said, is really tough here. Tactical speed. Trainer gets 26% first after the claim. This horse has been hot at the claim box for the past year, 5 times. Luis Saez is up aboard. And then the 5 horse is my third choice. Trainer gets 15% when he rests them up 90-plus days. Trainer gets 19% when he first after a claim. Drops in class also, so makes him a little dangerous. And then the 4, which is the last horse in the field for me, ran even last time, and this is another one that needs to wake up to do any kind of damage.
So I'm going to go with It's Cold in here as the top pick. It had a really big lead last out, and it was the versus the top choice. I think it's got a chance to improve in the morning line suspended campaign. It had like a 3.4 length lead and gave that up. So I think today with a little bit softer fractions won't give it up. Suspended campaign did run the top last race. Speed figure could be better in the second up. Off the layoff. First off the claim for trainer Linda Rice, which is a 23% winning angle, which is actually a downgrade for her because she wins at about 25%, Charles. Vegas weekend only had one race at Saratoga and won that one. And that one's the other way around, the claim and the drop. And then finally Gringotts again, like the last race, 4 horses, all that's left. So we'll stick them in the 4th position. I'm going to do a little bit of Charles in here. I'm going to go a $2. I'm going to be spending big on this one. Ice Cold Exacta with the 7 and the 1. So I should have did the Ice Cold Superfecta up front, and then that would be it for my Ice Cold call for the day.
Yeah, that would have been, but that would have been a hell of a call.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes it takes a few to get there. Another race coming up in race number 4 that was supposed to be on the turf, but won't be.
Yes, the 4th race here, 5.5 furlongs. It's allowance, starter allowance for 50,000. The purse is 70,000. This is for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won, which have started for a claiming price of 50,000 or less and never won a race other than maiden or claiming.
And again, this was supposed to be on the turf, so we don't really have the data for dirt. So Charles, without the profile of a winner, the only thing that we have left is the ability to look at simulations. Again, another race that's impacted by scratches. We have a handful of them in here, Charles, but it doesn't really look like it's going to impact which 2 horses are going to get out of the gates, kick up a lot of dirt, and battle for the lead.
Which would be the 2 and the 3. The 2 itself is 28% chance of getting that lead at the quarter pole. But that 3 is going to have a say in it, I believe, with the 25% chance. So I think it's between those 2. But you know what? Do not count out that 11 for being up there on the front either. That 11's got some speed. When it comes to simulation odds, yeah, maybe the 5 a little bit, but barely. Pretty much right on the money. And, yeah, that's it. No overlays on the odds.
Yeah, they all scratched out. But looking at the C zone, everybody in here has got a lot of dark green except for the 3 horse. So I would imagine that you're going to see everybody get a pace that they're kind of comfortable with. I worry a little bit about horses like the 10 and the 11 on these short sprints being outside. They're going to have to really get up and go to get to in front of those inside speed horses to clear, maybe run a little bit too fast. So we'll see if indeed that's how that race plays out. But as far as the race shape is concerned, you do see the 2, 3, and 11. They want to lead. So you got that 11 on the outside, as you mentioned, Charles. Does show the most early speed in its most recent numbers in there with the 2, the 5, and the 3, not too far off. So I think the 11's got a shot to get to the lead, but it's going to work to get to the lead. I don't think there's any question about that. Just got to hope it doesn't go too fast to get there. As far as your late pace is concerned, you got the closer in here, the 6 horse. Needs some money, don't we all? Does have the most late speed, but really not a big advantage over the next 4 horses in there. So I think early position tactically is going to make a difference in this race. Probably want to be middle forward. I don't know what I just did there, but let's try something else. And then the total pace here, World Traveler, the 5 horse scoring 3 points better than Explosive Exchange. Needs some money. Shigeko, but I'm going to go right here. The 3, 5, and 6. That trio, according to total pace, might be where you find your winner. Charles, is that where you found yours?
Well, I mean, that's where I got my 3. I like the 3 here. The speed, I believe personally, a jockey upgrade. Rosario's jumps aboard. So I think there's a lot of pluses to this horse. Like we said, there's a couple other horses in here with some speed, so you cannot have an easy lead. I do believe the 5 is my second choice. This horse has got that tactical speed. I ran even last time, but this horse totally fits with this group. I think this horse could be dangerous, especially at the end of this race. My third choice is the 2. The 2 is the other speed horse, very well bred. Second start after a layoff. Luis Saez is aboard, so there's nothing to say there's anything wrong with this horse. And then my price horse is the 11. It's one of the other speed horses, but I do believe the other two are a little bit faster. The trainer gets 26% first after a claim, does cut back in distance. So this horse will show a little bit more endurance than usual.
And you're going to do a dollar pick six? All right, Charles. What do
I'm
you
going
got
for
going
pick six today. I said it's time.
Yeah, you put the ball up on the tee and you brought out the big back.
Yes, I
big
did.
bat.
I'm going with my top 3 picks in this race, and then I'm singling that 10 in that second leg, and then my top 2 picks in that third leg. The fourth leg, I got another single.
You're just having a single party today, baby.
That's right.
That's right.
And then the fifth leg, I got my top 3 picks, and then the final big pick 6 leg, I got my top 2 picks. And that's how I'm going to do it.
And the funny thing is about your top 2 picks, they don't make my. Oh, I'm doing a trifecta anyway.
Oh,
So, all right, I was going to say, woof, I was a little worried about that, Charles, there. All right, for me in race number 4, as far as my selections, I like the 5 horse in here, World Traveler. Last time out, the horse ran its best fractions to date and has the top total pace number in the field. I like when you see a horse running faster. That almost always a sign that the horse is in shape. The only thing you got to worry about, though, sometimes is maybe a little bit of regression. Number 10, Proud Foot. Very consistent performer in here. Did show a little bit of early juice last time out in terms of improvement there. And is your lone PC horse. I call him the Sesame Street horse, right? One of them doesn't look like the other. That's the 10 horse. So it can get a very comfortable trip. If they go too fast, it can sit off the pace. If they go too slow, can move forward. The 6 horse needs some money. It's another one that showed early improvement last out, has 3 maintenance workouts to keep its edge for today. Explosive Exchange, your top pick, my 4th selection here, Charles. For this horse, absolutely the most important thing is how quickly does it get out of the gate. If the horse is first, second, or third, when the gates open, the horse will be competitive from start to finish and could go wire to wire. But if it's at all sluggish when the gates open, look out. It could be off the board altogether. Trifecta for me, 5, 6, and 10 with the 5, 10, with the 2, 3, 5, 6, and number 10. I hope you hit that $1 pick 6, Charles. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's been a very long time since I played a pick 6.
So you're feeling pretty good about that then, huh? Or either that or you ran out of ideas.
No, it's because of the way the scratches came out. It just made, for me, it made more sense to play a pick 6.
All right. In race number 5, they were going to run on the inner turf again, but I do believe this one is off to the dirt. And I think this time around, they're going to run a mile on the dirt.
Are you sure? Because I looked it up and they still
says it should non-winners. Oh no, I don't know. It's still a mile and an eighth. All right, whatever.
Yeah,
we'll go to a mile and an eighth. I saw the race at a mile down here. Never mind. That's just part of the conditions.
Okay. All right. So it's a mile and an eighth. Allowance of 50,000, purse of 70,000. This is for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have not started for a claiming price of 50,000 or less, and which have never won a race other than maiden or claiming.
Yeah, and indeed, even when they ran on the turf, they had only run a couple of races. We do not have the mile and an eighth dirt data, so no profile of a winner, unfortunately, in race number 5. But nonetheless, we still have our simulations, which can help us. We got a couple of scratches with the 9 and the 12 out, Charles. But based upon the simulations, it looks like this one could be pretty competitive up front.
Yeah, it could be. But the 11 has a 22% chance of getting the lead. It could be, the 1 I personally think has some decent speed to go after it too. So, but on this chart, it shows that the 11 will have the lead at 22% chance, and possibly the 10 being right there. I think the 10's more tactical than front speed. When it comes to simulation odds, we got the 1 at 4-1. Morning line is 10-1. The 2,
nice,
just slightly under 4-1. We got 8-1 morning line. That's another nice overlay. And then the 10 itself, just slightly under 2-1. We got a 3-1 morning line.
Yes, unleash the power. Could unleash the power on the simulation, according to that. As far as our race shape is here, look at this one, Charles. This race here is pretty lopsided towards horses that want to be on the front versus a host of closers. So get to the front here, and you probably have a pretty good shot to stay up there. We did see speed hold up in race number 1. The early pace does belong to Buck or Two, and then Fight Fiercely right in there as well. But when you look at all of it, even some of these horses back here, like the 2 horse, the 10 horse, those are closers. And because their early pace should put them in contention with the early pace here, I call those left arrow horses, ones that usually get off to a slow start in terms of they want to close. But the early pace, they don't have to run any faster than they normally do when the gates open. Going to move them more forward today. A lot of times you get some long prices like that, Charles. And then as far as late speed is concerned, look at that 10 horse in there, Charles. That left arrow horse does have the most late speed in there, so could move forward. That simulation favorite, not too far off the early pace, got the most late legs. Maybe that translates to a horse that does have the best total pace, 6 points better than Ghostly Prince. Again, once you start crossing that 5-point threshold and closing in on 10, maybe not a horse that's going to win, but one that you absolutely want to keep an eye on for your exactas and trifectas, although both of us think you might want to put it at the top of your tickets.
Yeah, well, I mean, the 10, I had a single in my pick 6. So, and even on my pick 4 too, I believe. So this one here, I mean, I like the 10 a lot. This horse ran second last time out. I personally think this horse could sit much closer. It's got that tactical speed, back on dirt. I think dirt or turf, either way, he's still going to run the same way. He's got a really nice kick at the end, like we talked about. So look out.
And he'll be up front with that left arrow status. So
yeah, so he'll be much closer to that front. And then my second choice here, which I had a hard time with second and third between these two horses. The 7 back on dirt today. Maker gets 17% when he puts them in routes, and you get Irad aboard the 7. The 8 horse as my third choice, ran second last time out, back on dirt also for this horse. Pratt's aboard, another plus for that horse. And then the 1, I think, is one of those horses got that sneaky speed that could probably hang on, adds the blinkers today, so you might see a little bit more speed out of that horse. You have a hot jockey the last 7 days aboard, so to pick up the minor pieces, I think the 1 would be right there. And that's why I did my key with the 10 on top of the 1, 7, 8, 11.
1, 7, 8, 11 for Charles. Behind that 10 horse, who I also think is going to score the W here. Charles unleashed the power, 3 consecutive speed figure increases in a row. Again, I highly encourage everybody, if you haven't done so yet, pick up Barry Meadows' book, The Skeptical Handicapper, and identify all of those alpha angles, which I call angles that win at 15% or more. 3 consecutive speed figure increases in a row falls into that category. And not only did it do that, but it increased its fractions last time out, ran even faster. Front man, the 5 horse, I like when I see pace figures in the beginning and the middle and the end of the race all increase off the prior start. This one's going to make your favorite handicapping angle, Charles. It's going to make its 3rd start after a layoff, and another one with 3 consecutive speed figure increases. So a lot of alpha angles working there. Splendid Summer, that 1 horse, does have a nice sim overlay, as you mentioned, Charles, when we went through the simulations, and also a pretty strong C-zone score, one of the better ones. So I've seen that combination hit too many times to ignore it. And then Giroux, the 7 horse, had more stamina late in its last race. I think switching to Irad Ortiz today could be helpful. And another horse making your favorite handicapping angle. 3rd start off the bench. Trifecta for me, 1, 5, 10 over the 5, 10 over the 1, 4, 5, 7, and 10. I don't think we can both win. Right? Yeah, we can. If it goes 10, 1, 7, we'll both be winners on the trifecta. So let's hope for that, Charles. 10 and then 1, 7 in the best order for the best payout.
There you go.
Let's see. How long do we have to race number 2?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. All right. So that gives us plenty of time to make our way to race number 6 in this 9-race card. Charles, tell us about what they're running for.
6 furlongs. This is for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 18,000 other than maiden, claiming, or starter, or state bred allowance, which have never won 2 races. And this is allowance for a purse of $149,500 for $149,500.
Maybe you could throw in the other $500 and they can name it a stakes race after Charles. The Big Boopa Handicap.
Yeah, that's right.
About that. I think that'd be a hell of a name for a race, the Big Boopa Handicap. So we do have a profile of a winner for race number 6 at 6 furlongs. Early speed does well. A lot of the times, 34 out of 100 of them actually stay on the lead all the way around the track, so they go gate to wire. You do have a very small rail bias. 2 through 7 play a little under par. 8 and out, Charles, a nice bonus. So outside speed in race number 6 is what you're looking for. And according to our simulations, the speed's going to be on the inside.
Yeah, that's what they say. I mean, the 4 which I do believe is one of the speed horses in here. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
At 56% chance of getting that lead at the quarter pole. But you know what? The 8, watch out for the 8. The 8's got some speed. Simulation odds. The 4 has 3 to 1. We have a morning line of 4.5 to 1, which is not too bad. And that's what we got when it comes to simulation odds.
C-Zone, look at the 6 horse, Divine Cross, standing out, much better than all of the rest. Horse that neither one of us has, so we might be a little bit. That one might screw up exactas and trifectas on the back end, and then you do have the 8 horse there, Portage, also scoring pretty high with the 5. So if you did a C-Zone pick or trifecta box, you might get paid or exacta box with that long shot 6 in there. It looks like our pace set up here shows a pretty evenly balanced race. One thing I noticed right away in here, though, Charles, is you have the 1A and the 1 on opposite ends of the spectrum. So the 1A going to go out for the lead. Probably a pretty good shot to be up there along with the 4 horse, Cause You're Pretty, and the 1, which is a closer. Another left arrow horse in there, Charles. Look out. You got a quartet of horses in there that are pretty close, but they all have some giddy up and go ability. So you might see a little bit of a hot pace early on, which could open the door for a horse with some late legs. Again, you see yeah, I'm not even going to bother. And then Cause You're Pretty, that's certainly not you, Charles. And then 3 Rivers as the other horses that'll be coming late. Total pace in this race, Charles, the 4, 5, 1, and 3, they look like the best, and perhaps that's where you're going to find the winner. Again, you have a couple horses in here that don't look like the others. The 1, the 1A, and the 4. Those might get good trips, Charles. What do you think?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think it's a two horse race. I like the 8. Like I said, I think he's got that, or she's got that sneaky speed. Rice gets 25% overall. This horse won last time out, so and cuts back in distance a little bit. So I think this is a very dangerous horse. The 3, as we just finished talking about, won last time out. It's got some of that, I personally think, more tactical speed than actually, more of a front running speed or closing speed. So, and it's raced 5 days ago. So you don't see that very often. And this horse cuts back. And I don't mind that coming back in 5 or 7 days. I think it's totally fine. Mm-hmm. And then I did it actually twice myself. So, and I succeeded at one time of those 2.
As a trainer, not as like an athlete.
Yeah. Well, as a pure athlete, I could run just a couple hours later and win again.
Mm-hmm.
But the 4 is my third choice. This horse has definitely got some speed, as we already been talking about. Won this last 3. The trainer gets 24% when they rest this horse up for 46 plus days. So that's what you got here. And then I want to talk about the 1 instead of the 1A. The 1 itself ran 3rd last time out, 2nd start after a layoff. The trainer gets 30% with that angle. Tactical speed, but as we just finished talking, more on the closing side of it. So I see this horse more or less flying at the end, but I still think it's a 2-horse race.
And you're going to do with that 2-horse race a $5 exacta box 3-8. No Charles Ice Cold there. I'm disappointed, very disappointed in you. Race 6, I like that 8-horse too. Another one of those Barry Meadows alpha angles. Did win the maiden special weight last time out. And the only time I really am a fan of special weight or claiming going up is when it's the top last race speed figure. That's indeed something Portage did. And it made a killer mid-move in getting that top last race speed figure. I like big mid-moves in races where they're coming around the turn. So you get that big move out of the turn, build momentum heading towards the finish line. And in all of that effort, again, another horse whose pace figures improved from the beginning to the middle to the end in its last effort. Cause You're Pretty. Thank you, Charles. Plenty of early speed at Finger Lakes. And it's going to get some first-time Lasix today. I love that combination of speed, and then Lasix, because they tend to run a little bit quicker and have the ability, because of the Lasix, to hold on longer. Yes, the 3-horse, the one I do not want to pronounce. This one's going to be coming late. So if the pace is hot early, you'll see the closer make its move. But of course, Irad Ortiz is the jockey here today. Switch to Irad, and you know he's going to try to position the horse. And Irad's usually pretty good at not letting you pass him late if he gets the lead. And then I'm going to go for the 2-for-1 special with the 1 and the 1A in the 4th spot for me. Pick 4, 4-8 with the 7. I'm going to single the 7 in the next leg. With the 1-5-7-8 in the stakes race, to be honest with you folks, I'm not quite sure because I haven't made scratches there yet. If the 10 gets in and it is moved ultimately to the dirt, then I want to replace the 8 with the 10, and then 1A, the entry in the last leg, along with the 11 and the 12. It looks like they're about to get cracking with race number 2, right, Charles? I don't know. We got an angry face from Peter Beard today. I don't know why Peter would be angry with us. We do all this work and we don't charge him for it. He should be happy with us, Charles, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, indeed. So they're going around the starting gate for race number 2. Right now, my 3 horse that I singled up in my pick 5 is it doesn't look like the bettors are backing him. He's 6-1 in there, Charles. I hope he comes home the winner. The 6 horse, your pick is your top pick in there, Charles, is the 4-5 favorite. Although the 2 horse in there, Don't Tell Amy, is at 3-2. The 4 horse, the one that we both pegged as the 4th place horse. So I think you know which one's probably going to win. That one is 8-1.
Yeah.
I think they're just waiting on the 4 and the 6. It's going to take them a long time to field a 4 horse field. Like if they're because the 4 horse, he don't want to cooperate right now. He's saying we'll make this a 3 horse race instead. Yeah, the 4 horse still is kind of being obstinate, not wanting to get into the gate. So once they get that one in, they'll load the 6. Looks like the 6 is on its way to the but the 4 horse still kind of acting up. There they go. They got the 4 horse in. Now they're going to put the 6 horse in. And you got your 4 horse field ready. The 4 does look really distracted in the gates there, Charles. We'll see if that's how he runs.
Holy crunch, man.
He jumped at the break there, right?
Yeah.
And off they go, Charles. So you got the 3 and the 6 with a repeat of what we saw in the first race, where the horses getting to the front, kind of working each other over a little bit, Charles. I'm a little worried about that 3 horse up front. I certainly hope that this race plays out like the last one, where the 2 horse just kind of held off on the rail and kept the other horse to its outside and then finally closed out. Although 24-7 is not all that fast for the opening quarter, so I'm not displeased with the opening fractions from my single Graceville, who we said would get on the lead. It is indeed on the lead, being chased by a Threstall, the 6 horse right now, as they come down the back stretch into the turn. Although I do like the way the 6 horse is moving better than the 3. The jockey really hasn't asked the 3 to go yet. The 4 horse, the one that jumped funny at the end, starting to make a little bit of a move as they come through the turn. I think my pick 5 is probably over because the 6 horse has made its way to the front. Although you look at that 2 horse on the outside there, he looks pretty strong too. Charles, the 3 horse, all that early speed is going to fade. Now the question is, can the 6 horse hang on? The 6 horse is moving the 2 horse up the track. Looks to me like, well, the 4 horse.
The 4 horse is trying to win.
Isn't that funny? I told you, bet the 4 horse when we both had him 4th, Charles. Although the 6 horse is re-rallying.
Yeah, the 6 horse has found his legs again.
Yes, and the 2 horse is re-rallying
too. 6-2.
Yes, 6-2. It's going to it's going to go 6-4-2, and my single is going to finish 48 lengths off the lead there. So I should have went with the 6 horse instead in my pick 5. I hope others went a little bit deeper. And the funny thing for me, Charles, is it's always the next horse in my picks that beats me. And there it is, that 6 horse. But at least we're both on our way to the pick 4. Yours is a little bit more hot doggish than mine, but we'll see if maybe we can close that out.
Yeah, that 4 just wouldn't go away, would it?
Even if he doesn't get that funky start, it might actually be your winner.
Now, was it the 4's fault or the 2's fault in that funky start? Is more of the question, I think.
I'm not sure. All right, Charles, we got 3 races to go. Let's knock them out. Race number 7 is up next, my friend. What's going on in race number 7?
Well, it's a 1 1/8. Claiming price at $25,000. Non-winners of 2 lifetime. Purse is $45,000. This is just for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races.
So at a 1 1/8, early speed does do well again. A quarter of the time, the horses go wire to wire. Post positions 1 through 7 play fair, 8 and out so far. Nobody's collected a W there, Charles. So a little bit of inside speed in race number 7 could be the elixir to the winner's circle. And looks like Freeze Pop got some inside speed there.
Well, we got some inside speed there, 39%, but you got that 9 out there with 42% chance of getting that lead at the quarter pole. So between those two, it looks like, I personally think the 9's going to get the lead, but of those two, but it really is who's going to pop the gate first, probably, who's going to have that lead. When it comes to simulation odds, we have the 7. Ooh, that'd be like 3 to 5, and we got even money morning line, so a little bit of an overlay.
And you got that really strong C zone on South Street. So favorite sim odds, strongest C zone. Yeah, it could be a difficult favorite to beat. I don't really like 1-to-1s, to be honest with you. Not my favorite thing to bet. Looking at the race shape setup, if somebody's going to have, you got like this triangle here. So the 3-horse being the lone E, everybody's looking for lone speed. Charles, is the 3-horse the one that's going to get the lead? According to recency bias, it is that inside speed fitting the track bias, lone E. Look out if it can get the lead on some easy fractions. 5 points better than Happy Bob, which means about a length ahead of everybody else. That 7-horse, the favorite, again, got that left arrow action going over here. One that likes to close, but its early pace is going to put it in contention early. Should sit right behind the 3 and the 9. And then that late legs takes over. Charles, the top scoring late pace horse in here. So the way this race shapes up from a pace standpoint, the 3 along with the 9 go to the lead. The 7 sits right off, turns the corner, and runs by them. And then as far as your total pace is concerned, it might go those 3 and just shift orders as they go around to the finish line, as they are the top total pace horses, Charles. Yeah, who's your top pick?
I almost had it exactly like that, but the 7. I had the 7 singled in my pick 6. I got the 7 singled here in my pick 3. So I like the 7. The 7 ran third last time out, drops in class. The combo, Rice and Ortiz, Jose Ortiz. And this horse has got some of that tactical speed. I think this horse could sit up close enough to the front runners to make that one big move, and it'll be over. The 9 horse is my second choice. One last time out, trainer gets 24% first after a claim. And then you got Pratt aboard, so it makes this horse definitely dangerous. The 3 is my third choice. Ran third last 2 times. Trainer gets 22% first after a claim and gets 22% when they rest up a horse 46 plus days. That's a nice fresh horse there. And then the 2 horse is my price horse, or if you want to call it a 3 or 4-to-1 price. Drops in class today. Trainer gets 14% when he drops them down 2 levels or more. And of course, this horse is back on the dirt.
You're going to do a pick 3, you said, where you're single as 7. It looks like you got some depth behind it.
Yeah, the second leg, I took my top 4 picks. And same thing with the third and final leg of that pick 3. Trying to capitalize on my 2 best bets, the 10 and the earlier 2 races back, and now the 7. Just trying to hit those pick 6s and pick 4s and 3s.
Yeah, I like South Street too in here. Maybe not in Philly. South Street's probably one of the nicest places to be in Philly anyway. Did run the top last race, speed figure last time, dropping in class. You see the strong C zone, the overlay there. It is the one to beat. Freeze Pop, the 3-horse, first off the claim for trainer Robertino Diodoro, who is, I think, got as many wins as you and I do so far at Saratoga. I think he's 0 for 7. I put in my notes, cold as hell at Toga. It is the claim and drop for Robertino, and from following him after he was a guest on the Horse Center show, I do notice that a lot of times his horses off the claim in the first startup, they push for that lead right away. So I'd expect for that 7 to be a part. I mean, the 3 to be a part of the early pace, just like the projections suggest. Happy Bob, another one of those horses whose pace numbers internally improved from the gate to the wire last time out. Better speed figures in the last 2. So a horse that's trending in the right direction, making the third start after a layoff. But not quite sure what to make of that because the horse hasn't made it to a third start before heading to the barns. So that tells me that the horse, Charles, is probably as fit as it's ever been. And then we're going to take a little bit of a shot here with the 6-horse Boys Code. Improved his fractions last time out by about 2 seconds, Charles. That's a big number. And most of that came in the second half of the race. I've seen a lot of horses that wake up in the second half of a race, and carry that momentum over to the next race. Trifecta 3-7, 3-7-9 with the 3-4, 6, 7, and 9. 2 races to knock out. That starts with race number 8. Mr. Charles, what are the conditions for the Susie O'Kane Stakes?
Well, as of right now, it's a 1.16 on turf. And the Susie O'Kane is for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward that fold in the state of New York.
Yeah, and as of right now, they have not scratched the 10 or the 11, which I find to be dastardly from the folks at Saratoga. Get your Saratoga stuff together, and
Yeah.
you'll see the 10 and the 11 are both MTOs, main track only. So as of right now, we're going to work off of the fact that they said that this one's going to stay on turf and the turf is good. So they've rated the turf, but they just haven't scratched the MTOs. Charles,
Well,
at a mile and a 16th.
Yeah, for me, when I handicap, I'm going with they're going to take it off. But
You went with them taking it off. I'm leaving
Yeah.
with them leaving it on, because I think if they were going to take it off, they would have taken it off like they did the other ones. But in any case, Charles, let's take a look at what's going on the inner turf. So far, it does favor stalkers. 13% of the horses, so a small number going wire to wire. A little bit of a rail penalty, so Kosuki might not be happy to be there. 2 and 3 have gotten a nice bonus. 4 through 7, they've been penalized. And then 8 and out. So a little bit of an accordion. Bad, good, bad, good. Remember that, Charles? Remember our simulations to see who's going to get the lead in race number 8.
Well, in race number 8, they're saying the 1. 56% chance of getting that lead at the quarter pole. And I believe that to be true. That horse definitely has the lead. Well, should have the lead at the quarter pole. When it comes to simulation odds, the 4 itself, slightly under 9-1. We got morning line of 15-1. Not bad. We got, that's about it when it comes to simulation odds. Everybody else is right about where it should be.
And then you see a bunch of dark green right here in the C zones there, Charles. So that means everybody in this race should be comfortable with the pace, whether it's on dirt or on turf. I'm going to lean towards the turf there, Charles. Otherwise, I feel you would have seen these scratches made already. In race number 8, the Susie O'Kane, you'll see again another one of these triangle races, Charles. Everybody wants to be middle back, although you do have a quartet of horses with great versatility. If that 2 horse can get off to a quick start, maybe a shot to go wire to wire. But according to its recency bias, not the one that's going to get there. It's going to be Kosuki, that closer. Look at that. Another left arrow horse in there, Charles. You have the 8 and the 5, both PC types. So wouldn't be surprised if the pace is slow to see that combination move to the front right there. Late speed in a race where everybody could be bunched up together belongs to Ikaban. But really, if you come all the way down to here, look, there's only a 6-point difference. So a very competitive race down the stretch with all of these closers. So with all of the closers having similar late pace, I would be looking for horses that are stalking in the middle, not necessarily your, way from the clouds closers. Our total pace figure goes to the 11 horse Ikaban, Kosuki, Amanda's Folly, Silver Skillet, all within a couple of points of each other. If you take it down to here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 horses within 6 points of each other. And you add these 2 in, you got 9 within 11. Again, with that kind of race shape, I'm going to want a horse that's probably middle forward with a little bit of a late kick to get the job done. Charles, you went ahead and you did it for a dirt track. My picks are mostly for the turf course.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to do alternates, it would be the 1 and the 7 would be my alternates.
Well, you have the 7 already. So you
but I'm talking about from like my pick 4s.
Oh,
okay, my pick 6 and my pick 3. So in this race, I have the.
Well, don't you think just to kind of square that up a little bit in the pick 6? Don't you think they should make that choice before the pick 6 starts?
Definitely,
I agree. I think it's kind of BS that they don't. Anyway, go ahead.
Well,
they don't.
The last weekend they did that 1 minute before post, and they took everything off turf, and everybody had their pick 6 bets in there.
That's just some straight up garbage. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, so nothing surprising me at all at this track. The 10 won last time out. This horse has speed. You got Rice and Irad combo. Nice combo there for this race. And the 11 won this last 2 races. This is Jose Ortiz and Rice combo. This horse has got more of that tactical speed. And then the 5 horse is my third pick here. Won last time out. It's got some tactical speed. Clement and Rosario combo is always really good, but mainly most of the time on turf. So we'll see how that turns out. The 7 is my price horse. Won the last 2 times. Tries, in my opinion, is going to be trying dirt, but either way, the trainer gets 28% when non-graded stakes wins. And like I said, if I had to, put another horse in there, it'd be the 1. Would be another alternate one with my 7 if I was doing something.
Yeah, with the sun out and then keeping the race on the turf, and it's a stakes race, I think the odds are that it stays on the turf. That's why I handicapped it for turf. But I did throw the 10 in there. I'm going to start off with the 5-horse Silver Skillet, neck away from winning 3 of its last 4 races, and does have a pair of decent workouts to keep the horse fresh between starts. Orange Freeze, the 7-horse, your alternate in your pick 4s and your pick 6, was better across the board with big time touch concern. The horse might have a little bit of regression today. If the race is on dirt, like Charles believes, then Amanda's Folly is absolutely the top pick for me in there. Then I'm going to go with the 1-horse Kazuki. Improved greatly in its second career start. Today, it's making its second second start after a layoff, switching to Jose Ortiz. So if we see similar improvement today, like we saw in its other second start after a layoff, and that strong chance to be on the lead with the strong C-zone scorer, we've seen plenty of those horses get up to the front, stay up the front, and never give it up. And if the 10 does not make the race and it goes on the turf as I expect, next up for me would be a collaboration. And as I mentioned when I did my pick 4, I went ahead and put the 10 in the brackets. If it's in, take the 8 out, put the 10 in. That would be my pick 4. I'm going to go a trifecta, 1, 5, 7. If the 10 is in, and then I'll take out the 1 with the 5, 7, again with the same scenario in the back end, the 1, 5, 7, 8, and 10. I'll also probably toss in the 11. Not the 11, the 6-horse. I mean, it's all confusing back there with all these scratches and stuff. So, I mean, with the lack of scratches. And I really, it's regretful that the folks at Saratoga don't let you know in advance what they're going to do there. Race number 9, we do know the particulars for race number 9, Charles, because I think this one is on the turf, and they've already declared it on the dirt.
Yes. They already put it on the dirt. It's 5.5 furlongs. Maiden claiming of $40,000 for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which were foaled in the state of New York.
So New York bred horses. Again, 5.5 furlongs on the dirt. We don't have any data for that, so we don't have our way to the winner's circle profile, but we do again have our simulations to see who might be on the lead. 4 scratches in here, making a little bit of an impact on the early pace, but not much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on this one we have the 3-horse. That's a 40% chance of having the lead at the quarter pole, and but you have the 5 right there that's going to have a say in this, and I think the 5's got an excellent chance of getting that lead at the quarter pole. Then we have our simulation odds. We have
no overlays.
No overlays in this race, so who knows what we got there.
And that speed horse up in here, True Martini, also grades out. Maybe a mistake not me having it in my pick 4 or pick 5, because it's going to be towards the front on a short race and enjoy being there along with the 7. The 7 has a shot to be up front, long price, but also the second best C-zone. Look out for that. Finally, the last time we'll look at a pace handicapping race. It is well balanced in here. The 1 and the 12 so far have not been within 5 lengths of the leader. The 10 going to try it for the first time today. Beautifully wicked. The 4 and the 5, they would probably prefer to be up in front with the 3 and the 7. And then the 11 and the 1A trying to bring home the bacon at the end. Early speed does belong to the 3-horse and the 5. I would see those 2 out on front. We do have a horse with some late race advantage in here, a pretty decent one too. So I think you got to pay attention to that 1A having a 5-point advantage over the 12. And Knox Cafty. I don't even know what the hell. I'm going to go with that one either. You got pretty competitive down the stretch here, though. Again, the 1A having a good shot. Something you see with the total pace figures, Charles. You have the 1 and the 1A grading out as the top 2 horses. So that could make the entry pretty lethal because they can be up front and they can both close. So I think both of them could have a shot to win. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I got the 1A as my 4th choice, but I like the 11 here. The 11 ran second last time out. It's got some tactical speed. second start after a layoff, and the trainer gets 21% with that angle. So why not with this horse? And the 4 horse ran even last time out. Third start after a layoff. Trainer gets 19% with that angle. And this horse also has that tactical speed to sit real close. I believe the 5 will have the lead. This is my third choice. This horse will be now going on the dirt. Been off for 5 months, though. So you got a really super fresh horse here. Got some solid works, but let's see what it brings to the table. And then the 1A tries the dirt. Ran even last time out. As the charts show, both 1A and the 1 both fit with this group.
Yeah, I'm going to start off with the entry. You get that 2-for-1 blue light special in the closing race right there. You have the maiden special weight dropper, the only one in the class with the Galatorona, the 1 horse. And then you have the top total pace horse with the 1A. You put them together, they're both the 1 and 2 total pace horses. So I think you got a pretty strong combination there. Your top pick, my second pick, Marley's Ghost, the 11 horse. It's our good friend Christopher Parmalou's favorite betting angle, a horse that's in the maiden race that finished second last time out. Means it only has to beat 1 horse this time across the track. Again, one of those horses that when you look at the race internals was better last time up and a good shot to be in better condition second start after a layoff. Knocks Cat off and Zine Fence. Knocks Cat off his defense. All right, I get it. In the debut, the horse was the 8-5 favorite. They're going to turn this one around. You mentioned this a little bit earlier, Charles, about a horse that's turning around quickly. They're turning this one around 8 days off of the claim. So you get a horse for the first time, you just claimed him, and he was the favorite in the last race, and you race him again in 8 days. What does that tell you as a trainer?
Well, I mean, it could be a couple of things. I mean, the horse is ready to rock and roll. It's fit. Didn't take the last thing. Didn't take much out of them. They eat up all their food after a race like that, and they're super rested up. I mean, there's a lot of things into reading. Sometimes, most of the time, good, I would say. And a trainer would not do that unless they really feel that the horse is ready to rock and roll. He's coming out of his skin, as they call it.
Well, coming out of his short horsehair there. And for me, it was a tough call for the 4 spot between the 4 and the 5, but I went with Red Butterfly. It's been a bit more consistent in its race-to-race efforts, but both of them, when they were on races that were scheduled for turf, the one time they both ran on dirt, those efforts were disastrous. They didn't do very well at all. Maybe even throw them both out. But I'm going to do a trifecta with the entry over the 11-12, with the entry over the 11, with the entry over the 11, 4, 5, and 12 to close out my picks today for Saratoga. Again, here are our full picks. In race number 1, the 2 horse won. In race number 2, the 6 horse beat me in my pick 5. I should have just singled up the 2 in the first leg and then went too deep next off. I would be a happy camper right about now, Charles. Race 3 coming up in about 15 minutes or so. We'll be back again tomorrow, Charles and I, to discuss Saratoga again. If you like what you saw, please head to our YouTube channel, hit the share button, copy that link, put it on your social sites, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever it is you communicate with your friends, let them know about us. Hit the like button, the subscribe button for all of our social sites. Charles, any final thoughts before you and I get out of here on this hump day?
No, not much. I mean, like I said before on the other deals, we have some auctions coming up, and I'll be at those auctions for a couple of clients. So anybody out there that needs some help or some guidance on looking at some of these yearlings that these sell, especially at Keeneland, send me an email. Drop me an email.
Drop him a line at Charles at the Big Casino Racing. You see it down there in his title. Also, again, tonight, don't forget, we'll have a fantastic guest on with Jamie and Sean with George Bryant. Always a funny guy. I'll be tuning in for that because he is absolutely 1,000% entertaining. I promise you. You tune in. It'll be a show that you enjoy. Again, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss George tonight with Jamie and Sean for the last Horse Center of the week. And again, our free track today at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There is a link down in the description below. Kindly use that link so they know where you're coming from. And then you'll see Gaucho in race number 1 at approximately 3 p.m. Eastern is going to be our race time favorite. Did my screen just go blank there, Charles?
No, I see it. No, now it went blank.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell is going on.
I was looking.
There we go. I don't know. My browser has lost connection to your camera. You can't see me anymore. I don't know what's going on, Charles. But anyway,
no, that's a good thing, though.
That's a plus. I'm sure. In any case, The digital version of myself where I'm all dialed up. I dress up nicely there. When I put the suit and tie on, Charles, I'm GQ caliber there, my man.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. So that wraps it up for today. No matter what you're doing for the rest of this day, we certainly hope that you have God's favor, God's grace, and that every single thing that you do until we get together again for Saratoga tomorrow ends up in
the winner's circle.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us and the picture version of myself. Have a fantastic hump day. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.